Dan Bilzerian, love him or hate him, he's here to stay. Millionaire playboy, high-stakes professional poker player, womanizer, gun fanatic, dubbed the king of Instagram, self-proclaimed asshole, an all-around badass. Despite all of the excitement around Dan and all of the individuals who hope they could be like him, he does have a dark side, which we have sadly come to witness more closely than others. But is all of this fame and money real, or is it just for show? Well, if I told you now, you wouldn't believe me. On the 7th of December 1980, Dan was born in Tampa, Florida, to Paul Bilzerian and Terry Stephan, who were surprised to learn that he is of Armenian descent on his father's side, which would explain his badass beard. But as much as Dan has changed the world as a celebrity, we learn that he has a dark side as well. Dan's fortune was just brought to light after it was linked to his father, Paul Bilzerian. We all know Dan is awash in cash, and he claims it's all thanks to his poker prowess. Yes, he makes a lot of money playing poker and likes to brag about it. His Instagram account is littered with images of private jets, large sums of money, beautiful women, weaponry, and other such items. His entire way of life revolves around his ability to live freely and do anything he wants. However, the bearded Instagram superstar may have had some shady beginnings. In the 1990s, he received a trust fund from his father. But the key question is whether or not that money was truly clean. There is some evidence to suggest that it wasn't the case. To obtain the full picture, you must first comprehend what happened to his father's fortune. Paul Bilzerian made a name for himself as a successful corporate trader. He studied at Harvard Business School and Stanford University, as well as serving in the Vietnam War. His career looked bright in the 1980s when he amassed a fortune and rose to the top of the commercial world. His previous classmates admired his accomplishments. Quote, "He has been a totally responsible, sophisticated member of the community, and I think he is a man whose career is just getting started," said Charles W. Knapp, chairman of Trafalgar Holdings Limited. However, in the late 1980s, the SEC began looking into Paul, his takeovers, and Wall Street trading. He was quickly charged with federal criminal charges for hiding his investments, failing to make timely reports, and failing to disclose the sources of his cash. So what happened after that? He was accused of deception, conspiracy, and making false statements. Ouch. Paul Bilzerian was forced to pay a hefty fine. He contributed $1.5 million and was sentenced to 4 years in prison. He was only sentenced to 13 months in prison. He gained considerably more money once he was released from prison. Bilzerian declared bankruptcy in order to avoid paying any money to the SEC. He hoped the SEC would stop pestering him now that all of his assets had been transferred to his family and he didn't have any money left. So did the SEC come to an end there? No. Bilzerian was sentenced to pay $62 million in damages. The game officially began at this point. The game of doing everything he can to keep his assets hidden and avoid paying his debts. And it was clear. Between 1994 and 1999, Bilzerian transferred his substantial assets into a complex ownership structure of offshore trusts and family-owned companies and partnerships, a Florida judge wrote in 2001. It's obvious that he did this on purpose to keep his assets out of the grasp of his creditors. So how did it all go down? Bilzerian was always one step ahead of the SEC when it came to filing reports. He used a variety of businesses, partners, and offshore accounts. Many of them had intricate organizational structures that could be traced back to him or his relatives. It was at this time that Paul Bilzerian established an irrevocable trust for his son, which was estimated to be worth $11.96 million in stock. That means Dan got half of the money. Is that money, however, truly the SEC's? Transfers of assets to family members for far less than their market value have for centuries been designated as badges of deception, according to some experts. So, despite the fact that Bilzerian said he had nothing, a software company where he had previously served as a president was paying him $120,000 for his services. But not to him personally, but to a corporation in which his wife was the sole shareholder. So what happened to Dan's confidence? In 2014, he was forced to hand over around 30% of the company's assets to the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC. He gets to keep the remainder. Caligula Corporation's president, secretary, treasurer, and director were all Dan. The corporation was first owned by his mother, who then passed it on to Dan's brother, who then passed it on to Dan. Of course, his father was involved with the corporation in some way. Some speculate that he was the one who ran it, so that he could conduct business without the SEC looking over his shoulder. Paul has only paid back $3.7 million of his $62 million debt. We lost, and we lost everything, Paul's wife stated of the SEC's actions. Paul also says that his battle with the SEC ruined his life and wreaked havoc on his family. Nonetheless, he refuses to pay his debt to the government. He's considering going back to the SEC and filing a motion to overturn their decision. Paul and his wife now live on St. Kitts, in a house that their son Adam owns. Adam received citizenship in 2007 and wrote the book, America, Love It or Leave It, So I Left. Adam, like his brother, is a professional gambler. 2 lawsuits have been filed against Bilzerian in the last several weeks. The first incident occurred in April when Dan and Hustler magazine invited porn queen Janice Griffith to do a picture shoot at his estate. Dan threw Janice, who was completely naked at the moment, off his roof into the pool. Unfortunately, Janice missed the target by a fraction of a second and broke her ankle on the pool's edge. Janice contacted Bilzerian and his attorney, Tom Goldstein, and received a sarcastic and bombastic response, prompting her to postpone the lawsuit. Things changed, however, when the king of Instagram landed himself into trouble once more. Dan was celebrating his 34th birthday at the LIV nightclub in Miami when he allegedly attacked another woman, model Vanessa Castano, who was attempting to break up a fight. Dan allegedly lashed out at Vanessa and kicked her in her face several times with his military boots. Vanessa said she had been kicked in the eye and would take legal action, which she later confirmed by submitting a police report. Dan was immediately barred from the Miami nightclub for the rest of his life. This happened months after he broke Janice's foot when he flung her from the top of his mansion roof. As Vanessa filed her case against Bilzerian, it inspired Janice Griffith to do the same, resulting in Bilzerian being hit with 2 lawsuits in 1 week. There's also video of an alleged man who looks like Dan Bilzerian giving a 1-foot forward kick to shove a woman away from the dance floor level. Dan was detained on the 9th of December at LAX airport, based on an out-of-state warrant accusing Bilzerian of being in possession of, quote, bomb manufacturing ingredients and attempting to make a bomb. He was granted bail and, in his own words, jail. Let's not make the same mistake again. Dan, on the other hand, seems to be prone to getting himself into problems. Australia is the first country to deny Dan a visa due to his recent activity, arrest, and lawsuits. Dan was requested to tour the country's nightclubs and assist as a consultant in the design of millionaire poker floors at a new casino being developed in Cairns and another in Barangaroo by several well-known and high-up casino developers. The ban was proposed by Immigration Minister Scott Morrison, and while there may be a backlash from young voters who want to see the pop icon in person, Morrison has the backing of Prime Minister Tony Abbott, who was quoted off the record as saying, "If you are going to assault a woman, make sure the cameras aren't rolling." Abbott was accused of violently intimidating a female activist off stage at a Sydney university, gathering in a 20-year-old case. There are just a few examples of how the Instagram king destroyed his fanbase with his own hands. The troublesome lifestyle of Dan and the way he smeared his reputation made so many of his die-hard fans turn their backs on their idol, and even the ones who stayed for him aren't enough to support him on his journey. Thanks a lot for watching. We hope you enjoyed our video. See you soon on a brand new scoop. Goodbye.